Hey everybody, welcome back to another Nerds in Squares podcast presented by BP Fun. I'm your host with the most, Captain Zeus, followed by my lovely guest here, Roman. Say hi to the folks,
Hey,
Roman.
what's up? What's up? Thank you for having me on, Zeus. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Of course, of course. When it comes to the topic of today, we can talk about this all day, honestly. We could probably talk about this all day.
Yeah, we'll see how many questions we can knock out before our time limit hits, but
That's true.
I think it'll be some spice opinions today.
Well, speaking of spice opinions, I know we're a little late to the party, but we're going to go ahead and talk about the Ahsoka finale and the Ahsoka series in general and its impact on the Star Wars universe. So,
Mm.
we're going to start off with the biggest question of them all. What does Thrawn's return mean? What does this mean for the future of the SWU, the Star Wars universe?
SWCU,
The Star Wars cinematic universe.
if you dare call it that.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
actually curious to hear your opinion first, because
okay.
I would love to see how it counteracts with mine before you know what
So
mine is.
first of all, I didn't read much of the EU, the extended or expanded universe. So I'm only aware of bits and pieces, such as the original Heir to the Empire books that Timothy Zahn, I believe, wrote for Thrawn, and that's where Thrawn's character was born because of those books. Now, I did watch Rebels, and I did really enjoy. First season of Rebels was, huh, but then after that, everything just picks up really good, and I loved everything with Thrawn. Darth
Hmm.
Vader, all that. I'm getting sidetracked a little
Hmm.
bit, but Thrawn's character was amazing, and the guy that voices him also, it's like, it just hits perfectly.
Perfect villain voice.
Exactly.
Calm, composed, but still cold.
Exactly. And I think he fit the character perfectly as well. And so we finally got to see him in live action, which I thought he looked pretty good. And the voice actor
Hmm.
did play him, so we got that iconic voice. But I will say I kind of had some mixed feelings. Maybe it was just his disconnect from literally the entire galaxy, but it seemed like he wasn't as methodical as he was in Rebels, for example.
Hmm.
Like he
Hmm.
did make some mistakes here and there. Possibly it's because he was scared of Ahsoka, her being the student of Anakin Skywalker. You kind of
That
saw
did
that
come up.
hint of fear on his face.
Hmm.
Um,
It was just a hint, though.
it was, which you don't see like ever. Now I
Hmm.
do like what's going on because from what it sounds like and what it looks to be is we're gonna follow the Heir to the Empire storyline in a different version, obviously the canon way. But I think
Hmm.
Thrawn coming into the main galaxy again is gonna do wonders. I think this is gonna be an amazing thing. I think the galaxy's in trouble. Like, let's be honest, they're in trouble. You have the most calculating, deviant mind ever
Hmm.
in control of the Empire. Which, by the way, they look so
With
sick.
some magic sisters.
Oh yeah, and the Night Sisters are back. The fact that this guy brought back the Night Sisters, who Palpatine had to literally exterminate because he was afraid of them rising up against him. And some other things, I'm sure. Like them coming back to Dathomir, which I think is kind of bringing like a full circle in terms of like what happened pre-Clone Wars.
Hmm.
And honestly, I think he's gonna get the remnants of the rest of the Empire remnants, collect them all
Hmm.
together, and that's gonna be the new Empire or the new First Order. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's gonna be the new Empire, and I think this is gonna
Yeah.
be amazing. I honestly see nothing but good things, especially since Dave Filoni is wanting to make a movie that's going to conclude the story that he's building with these new Republic era shows. So I think that being a conclusion with the Thrawn storyline will be an amazing thing to see in theaters.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the one thing that most people are probably going to be thinking is, since this was before First Order timeline, where was he the entire First Order? Now they're going to have to go
Right.
back and fix everything or make up somehow Thrawn returned for the movies if people didn't watch Ahsoka or what have you.
Or even
So
Mandalorian season 2.
Mandalorian season two, or you mean four?
No, it
Oh, you
was
mean in?
2.
Oh, no, no, you're right. You're right. You're right.
I knew what you meant though.
I thought you meant like if they release another season of Mandalorian after this, and obviously he's gonna have to be in the
I
universe
I
at that
think they're
point.
not going to release any more seasons with the Mandalorian right now, but
Oh yeah, but like a year or two in the future if they want to bring it back.
yeah, it'll be in like someone else's show probably, kind of like what they did with Boba Fett.
Oh, don't even.
Anyways, back to the topic at hand.
He would have saved Boba Fett.
Who, Thrawn?
Yeah, it would have made it more interesting.
You know what? You might be right. He might have probably hired him. And honestly, I mean, it's a little tangent here, but the Boba Fett show was the most disappointing thing to happen
Yeah,
in recent Star Wars
I
series.
know.
Like,
We should do another podcast about this
we'll
one.
have to, yeah, we'll have to do another
Yeah,
podcast on
we need to knock out these throne
it.
questions.
Okay,
But I think what this means. I think I pretty much just voiced my concerns for what this means for the Star Wars universe in general with Thrawn returning. They may have to do some clever feet work getting around like all the movies they've already put out that are later without him being in it. Um,
I mean, unless he dies.
unless he dies, which I hope he doesn't, because
He's,
I haven't read any of the books.
uh,
I'm your average Star Wars fan that watches everything, so I have seen Rebels, but um, you know, in Rebels, he was probably one of my favorite characters, if not, I would say favorite villains, if not one of my favorite characters in general.
mm,
Just because of the nature of how he is as a villain, you just don't see it very often. He's, like I said earlier, cool, like really, really good under pressure, well calculated, can make a new brilliant decision on a moment's notice. He just doesn't crack. But at the same time, you know, I lost my place in thought, but
mm.
uh, he's I'm just trying to say he's such a great character. I really hope they don't get rid of him because there's really honestly no one else like him in the universe. I guess
As
in
of
the
this
Star Wars
moment,
universe.
yeah.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about his character was also how he was respectful of different cultures. Whether he was trying to use it to his advantage in, strategy for
Hmm.
war, or just because, he values people's cultures. But I think that as a villain, having that base layer of respect for, another person, or at least another culture at the very least, was something new that I hadn't seen in a villain before.
Yeah, I
That
will
made me
say,
kind of like, oh, I mean, he sucks, but I kind of like this guy.
like he's cool, especially like you said because of the whole culture respecting thing. You don't see that in villains, like period. Even
Mm,
Palpatine, like he literally wanted to exterminate anything and everything that opposed even a little bit of a threat, like
yeah.
Mandalorians, the Night Sisters, the
Hmm.
Jedi, all of them, just to exterminate them and didn't care for their. I mean, he knew of like the culture, but didn't care for it. Thrawn's like, I think Thrawn will be a better emperor than the emperor if it gets to
Hmm.
that point. But at the same time,
Yes.
I don't think that he would take up the mantle as the emperor.
Yeah. Well, side question. I don't know if this is on your list or not,
Hmm.
but if you lived in the Star Wars universe, obviously we don't want Palpatine as, emperor. I'd be a rebel at that point.
Yeah.
But if Thrawn was your emperor, would it be chill?
I honestly think it'd be chill. If Thrawn was my emperor, I think it'd be pretty chill. Because considering like he does try the diplomatic approach, obviously,
Mhm.
and he does, like you said, he does things a little bit more respectful. He does respect cultures. Like he does not hesitate whatsoever. But he's smart about everything and every decision
Hmm.
he does. So I
Yeah.
think that him as in charge of an entire galaxy, I think that's just him playing chess. I think that's like another day in the
I think
life
he
of
just does
Thrawn.
it for fun at this point.
Honestly, I think he does it just because he's like, well, my people are safe. Let's see what I can do with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I might uh, twiddle my thumbs in a couple different cultural, political regions and see what happens.
I kind of would like to have them explore a an arc where Thrawn, obviously he's returned, but not only is he taking remnants of the Empire and mushing them into his mold, but he's also conquering. I wouldn't even say conquer. He is. I can't even say liberate, but like other parts of the galaxy are willingly and wanting to go under his like wing, basically, which I think
because of his respect,
not only just
respectful
that, but
nature.
because of just how smart and tactical he is, like when it comes to combat or any
Hmm.
opponent. Like he'll go to the
In
weak ones
in
first.
a in a from like a state of fear or
Hmm.
from a state of like, oh, there's no guy better than this. We might as well be with him.
Well, it depends on his approach. I'm pretty sure it'd be both. Like he can
Hmm.
implement fear, but he can also implement like calmness, I guess, depending
I
on
won't
who's
kill
opposing.
you as
Yeah.
you join me
No, but I think
for
that'd be cool. Like
now.
he'll go to the weaker parts of the New Republic and start to peel them away as they're like, we're no longer apart. We're joining this new empire, and
Hmm.
people will be threatened. But what'll happen is because there's nothing bad happening, and because Thrawn's doing good things, there's gonna be a clash, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, we can't do anything. These people want to stay there. Like they're not even in
Hmm.
fear." And then that's
Yeah.
when Thrawn starts to put things in play that's basically going to take over the galaxy, and the New Republic will finally, at the last minute, do something to stop them, but they're going to be a little bit behind the schedule there. But I think that would be a super cool thing to see, whether it's like built up in a series, whether it's in a trilogy of movies. I think that would be really cool to see,
Yeah, I agree. That'd be dope.
right? Honestly, just more Thrawn at this point.
Yeah. I don't. This might also be a tangent. I know we've only done like one question so
Literally
far,
just
but
one.
how do you feel about his costume design and makeup
Honestly, I thought it looked pretty
and
good.
like actor choice?
I mean, him as an actor, I think was perfect. I mean, it's literally the voice actor.
Yeah.
Costume, I thought was all right, nothing too crazy. I mean, he's just got a really big dad bod.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And he looks much older than like he does in Rebels.
Well, think
Um,
about it. Rebels, that's like at least I want to say like between Rebels and
isn't it
this
like
point,
only like a decade though
yeah, it's like
around
a
there?
decade, 15 years, something like that.
Yeah. Bro looks like he aged 30,
I mean,
hands down.
he was kind of already old in.
But he didn't have like
I think he had a widow's
grandpa
or
wrinkles.
I think he had the crow's feet already. I can't
Mm.
recall. We'll have to go back and rewatch, but
I you might have to put this up like in editing, but the picture that he reminded me of, that one episode of The Office where Reed Breton dyes his hair just pitch black. It's like an old man with like straight black, like all black dark hair.
never seen The Office.
Man, hold on. I'll send it to you later, but you
Okay.
may have to put it up. It's oh my God, it was I was like, this is him. This is Thrawn but white. Yeah.
Isn't
So
I,
I don't know. It looks weird to me, but he was definitely a great voice actor. I think they could have maybe de-rinkified him though a little bit.
I mean, at the same time, it could have also just been the stress of being on a completely different planet and having to not only rebuild half of the Star Destroyer, but also build his fleet. Which, you know what, that ties into like one of the questions that I actually had here. Is if I have it here, did I not write it down? Okay, I didn't write it down. But how the frick? Like, what hap- What's up with his new army? Like, if I recall correctly, he didn't have much of an army with him when they got like teleported or sent
Hmm.
over to this new planet.
Yeah, and it
But
was pretty massive in the show.
yeah, I mean they did bring the entire Star Destroyer, so they did have some
Hmm.
crew there. But at the same time,
Maybe
like,
they were all like in their bunks sleeping when they got
dude,
jumped.
their costumes look sick as frick. And I just want to know
Yeah,
how the heck did they make that? Like, I don't mean like costume
in the
design, but
universe.
yeah, in the universe. Because also
Yeah,
when
like
you
the
look,
Enoch
oh,
helmet.
Enoch, he's like one of my favorite characters already, just because of the
He's pretty
design.
cool.
And then the
Yeah,
Star Destroyer, it's got gold on the parts where they repaired, so it just looks sick.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, it's
What?
on. You see it a lot on the underhull, but it's on like the side as well. It's like gold plating, and I'm like, dude, what the frick? That's something I would like to have at least a little bit explained in the future, is how they repaired it. Because yeah, the Night Sisters were there and they helped, but I didn't see anyone else besides those three assist in their takeoff plan, basically. So I'm kind of just wondering, like, what happened on that planet, you know? Also,
Mhm.
speaking of, and this goes into another point that it has, so we can have a little bit more to talk about. What is Balin searching for?
For Balin in particular, I had a couple theories, but the one that it's probably not correct. That's probably not what's going to happen. But the only thing that I could like most realistically um, side with
Mm-hmm.
is either the possibility of him searching to become a Force ghost, or two,
Oh,
learning more about the world between worlds, if that's possible
oh,
for him.
okay.
Because if he's not worried about being stranded somewhere, you know he's very confident in his either A, willingness to become a Force ghost, or B, get back with the world between worlds.
So why do you think it's the world between worlds?
It's just a theory.
Just know you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
that's there in the show. He's looking for
So,
something.
well, he's clearly being very philosophical
Mm-hmm.
and searching for something much deeper in his life that I would assume he would put far above his dedication to being a merc or even to being, a has-been Jedi or to not even becoming a Sith. There's something way more important in his life right now.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing all the stuff that he does know about being a Jedi and the Force, yada yada, what are the only two other major things that we know in the Star Wars universe that could like supersede the importance of those things?
A gray Jedi. They're not canon. That would be cool though.
Force Ghost or the freaking
World
World Between
between
Worlds
worlds.
is the only other mind blower that I know of.
Maybe I think he might be looking for a way of transcendence, not necessarily a force ghost, though. Just more of like
Mhm.
enlightenment
More of a Force sludge.
or a force monk, because that's technically a thing.
Mm, like
Because,
the Bendu?
yeah, because technically, um, where he was at was the, can't remember their names, the father, the daughter, and the son. That's
Hmm.
where we
Yeah.
last saw him. So maybe he's just looking for more, or I don't know, maybe he's just looking for balance, like true balance, which could be a cool way to introduce like a gray Jedi, but
That is true.
like
I
them.
mean, what would you call Ahsoka at this point?
She's not a Jedi because Jedi is a religion, so she's
Hmm.
not a technical Jedi, but she's a light side
Well, yeah.
user. So I would still put her on the Jedi category, just like
Okay.
on the lines of Anakin.
Yeah.
She's definitely not
So with
traditional.
Balin, he's kind of to I guess put it simply, he's kind of already in between
Mm-hmm.
those two realms, just like Ahsoka is. He was also betrayed by the Jedi, or whatever happened to him, so he left, and now he has orange lightsaber, and he kills people now, and he thinks he's doing the right thing, or what
And
have you. Or,
the orange lightsaber I found is really significant, and it kind
hmm.
of gives me more evidence towards the gray Jedi theory, is because it's whenever a Sith or a dark side user gets a lightsaber, they have to corrupt an existing kyber crystal, and that's
Hmm.
how it becomes the blood red. But his wasn't like that. It's only partially corrupted, which is why it's orange. Same thing with Hati's.
Hmm.
It's only it's in between. It's like, okay, we've touched the dark side, but we are not of the dark side. They want balance, they want peace. Well, I mean, he also wants power, which is not a Jedi thing, but it's
Hmm.
also a Sith thing. But at the same time, he still, as a Clone Wars Jedi, he's still believes in the Jedi philosophy. I mean, we even heard him talk about it. He's like, the idea of them was great, but what they become was not, you know?
Hmm.
So I think maybe as he's searching for balance, or maybe whatever it is he's searching for, he becomes what can be considered a great Jedi. Especially since the statues
But
had
they
the
would
sun
never. But they
destroyed.
would never call it that.
No, they would never call it that because that's just too lazy. They'll call it something
Hmm.
else, but I think he would be the equivalent of that.
Acolyte.
No,
Yeah,
that's a Sith thing.
I didn't know that.
Sith acolyte. It's like their it's like a Jedi Padawan.
What if it was a gray acolyte? A gracolyte.
A Gracolite. We are the Gracolites, and it's like General Grievous coming in with four lightsabers.
Views plummet.
Oh my gosh. No, views plummet when the Ewoks pop back up. That's when the views will plummet. Oh, never mind. I mean,
But I like the Ewoks.
dude, can we get an Ewok hunt movie, please? I want a horror Ewok hunt movie. That'd be sick.
Say that really fast.
Ewok hunt movie.
Minus the movie.
Ewok hunt. I'm saying Ewok hunt. What?
Nothing.
I'm assuming someone's gonna comment about what it is I'm saying. Okay.
Maybe.
Anyways, we'll
If
move
they
on.
listen, if they listen fast enough.
They just do it times two, times five speed.
Ewok hunt. Okay. Anyways,
Nothing. Okay, so speaking of what Balin's doing on that mysterious planet, what's gonna become of Ahsoka and Sabine? Are they gonna return to the main galaxy?
mm, I sure hope so. But this might be the studio's excuse as to why they weren't there during Palpatine's return.
If they're alive, then.
That's true. We did hear, didn't we hear Ahsoka's voice when Rey heard all the voices of the Jedi?
Yeah, you heard all of the Jedi. You heard Kanan as well.
Hmm. Yeah, but he was
Dead.
Dimsdale dead.
He was.
So, did we hear any alive Jedi in that?
Technically, there was no alive Jedi at the time, because at the time of that, the only one that was alive, if you want to consider him a Jedi, was Ben.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, but
because
he wasn't gonna. He was already there.
yeah, it was a little busy fighting the entire Knights of Ren. So
Hmm. So on that question, um, I lost my train of thought again.
I want to interject something here. I would say let's not consider the sequel trilogy in this, only because there is a huge time period gap between the New Republic era we're at and where the sequel trilogy starts.
Okay, but like, how long of a period are we talking here?
20 years at least.
That's much longer than I thought it was.
Because remember, Ben's a whole adult at the start of it, and
Hmm.
even at the start of the movies, but at the start of the era, like he was still like a teenager. That's
Yeah.
at least 15, 16 plus years, and we don't know how much gap there was between that period and the New Republic.
So you're thinking Ahsoka's for sure dead in the sequels.
More than likely,
Rip.
could be as a Force
We had a good
ghost.
run.
I mean, we don't know. Also, I don't know how long her race lives, so someone let me know how much her, I think it's Torguta race, however long they live. I don't know what their lifespan is.
The Tortuga race?
Yeah, the Tortuga race. But I am curious as to what's going to become of them because Ahsoka
Hmm.
seems to just be chilling. She's like, it'll all work out, whatever.
She does not care. She is cool as a cucumber.
Hmm.
Gonna set up a whole shop with Sabine, and they're gonna be besties. And
Besties for lesties.
they might, they may just live the Ezra life for a little while. And
But there
I
is
really
one
don't know.
difference. They have a new master there. Because we at the end we saw Anakin's Force Ghost watching
Oh,
over
it's
them.
true.
So maybe he's there to guide Sabine and assist in Ahsoka's training for her.
Hmm.
Or even better, maybe he's there to guide Ahsoka to becoming a Force ghost.
I'm gonna need some more clarification on how that works, because obviously he's still alive as Darth Vader.
No?
Is this? Oh shit! No, you're right. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so sorry.
That's where your clarification needed.
I got mixed up with the Rebels timeline where she fought him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A little tangent.
Dang.
I did
So now,
think that the universe was going to reset with the world between worlds because listen. So this is
I mean,
this
that'd be nice, but
because I think I've told you about this theory, and this theory's been floating around for years. When Ahsoka died, that was part of a timeline where the sequel trilogy came into play. But since Ezra brought her back, that branched a new timeline, which is where the New Republic era is at. So that's that's my theory as to a way they can not only keep the sequel trilogy relevant, but at the same
mhm.
time continue on a completely new path. And that way you're not actually upsetting anyone because it was canon, but because the world between worlds little reset there, it's no longer not canon. No, it's no longer canon. That was
It's just another universe,
it was a different timeline.
different timeline, different universe.
But anyways, I think I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see about what's going to happen with Sabine and Ahsoka because obviously this is going to lead to a
I
season
have
two.
no guesses. I have no guesses on this one.
I don't either.
Oh, it has to. Yeah, it has to lead to another season. Like they're not gonna leave the two main female protagonists stranded
On a
for
planet
all
with
the
a female antagonist and the mysterious Balon.
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 Ba Balong?
Honestly, like R.I.P.
Yeah,
Ray
all right.
Stevenson. Because honestly, I
Yeah.
was hoping to see what his storyline was gonna be. Like, are they gonna recast
Do you
his
think they would
character?
do you think they would AI his face without his family's permission?
Knowing Disney,
Yeah,
probably.
probably.
Yeah,
Probably so.
probably.
Yeah, very sad. But I think no, I think they have such a big support group. Like so many people like feel for the loss of him,
Hmm.
like not only as an actor but as a person, that I think there would probably be quite a bit of um well, I don't know, because when they did Carrie Fisher, people were like, "Oh, it's so cool."
But I
I'm
think
sure
they
there's a
had
couple
her
people that
permission, or not her, but like her family's permission. Because remember, her
hmm
daughter's also part of the Star Wars universe.
yeah.
And at the same time, with these shows, Dave Filoni's in charge. He is the creative head, and John Favreau's involved as producers with these as well. So they have respect for anyone involved in the Star Wars universe. So they're
hmm
obviously not going to try to do anything that sneaky. So maybe
Yeah.
they'll just like write it off or something. I'm not too sure.
hmm Maybe we never see him actually do the thing that he's trying to achieve. We just hear about it. Or we are following another person in the story's adventure, and then they happen to see it happen, and we have a flashback. So it's only like a quick little, like, hey, this is what he did. And they only have to do it for like maybe a solid like 30 seconds or so.
I mean, it all depends on what it is he was trying to accomplish too.
True.
So many questions. That's not
Force Ghost would be easy to make.
Force Ghost would be a bit easy,
Don't have to mess with like skin tone.
but I
Don't
don't
have to
think that's
mess
going to be
with.
the case. Just because he's more of like a dark Jedi. So
Never know.
I mean, that's true. You
Never
never
know.
know. Okay, so how does Grogu, Jin, and the rest of the Mandalorians fit into this new era? At first, the New Republic era was basically being built off of them, right? Building off the Mandalorian show. But now
hmm
it's obviously splintered.
Yeah.
We're growing, which is great.
Mainly because of Andor, I feel like.
No, no, I don't think so.
No,
No,
I feel
I
like
don't
Andor.
personally.
Mm, you didn't like it?
Mm-mm.
I mean, it was slow, but it was good at the end.
Couldn't even finish the first ep. Actually, that's not true. I did finish the first episode, but
Ah,
the first episode was so rough. I
my
just couldn't.
man.
And I love
It was pretty
espionage.
bad. Yeah, it was pretty slow. My friend actually had to like talk me through, just like you're gonna like it, like just keep going. And I was like, but then stuck with it. Eventually watched it, months after it finished releasing, and
The
I
thing
had
is,
to
I think
admit,
that's
it
like
was
that is
pretty good.
separate because all of the stuff that's been blooming over here in this
Hmm.
little cubicle is all Dave Filoni's stuff. Like that's
I think
all
my
his bread and
timelines are
butter.
just messed up now.
Yeah, because Andor's before Rebels, or I'm sorry,
Yeah,
it's before Rogue One, which technically is after Rebels.
but it's around the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah, but anyways, maybe you might be feeling that way because of. No, you didn't watch Andor. I feel like they did a lot of like New Republic, like political stuff
I mean maybe like
in there.
no, they did Empire, political stuff. They didn't do New
Oh, you're
Republic.
right. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. No, you're right. Okay. No, my times are screwed up.
You're getting a little messed up there.
I'm so sorry to anyone listening that I'm confusing, especially if you don't watch Star Wars that much.
I mean, hey, at
I'm pretty
least the
ashamed right
people
now.
that may have had that same confusion, they're also cleared up.
True, very true.
There we
Okay,
go.
well, in that case, the only other time that they've been really emphasizing the whole New Republic outside of Mandalorian, uh, I'm not even gonna mention Boba Fett, would be what's the other show?
That's this one, right? Because you have Mandalorian,
I
there's
guess it would
three
have to be.
seasons, there's Book of
No,
Boba
there's.
Fett, and now there's Ahsoka.
I could have sworn there was more.
It feels like it, right?
No, oh, I think I'm thinking of the latest season of Mandalorian because it didn't really feel that much like Mandalorian,
Yeah, that one
if
was a
I'm being
lot
honest.
of New Republic, like
Hmm.
stuff in there.
Yeah, yeah. Dang.
It's crazy that we only have three shows, and it's done so much more than the past like six movies, honestly, from
Hmm.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah, big time.
So what's the next show that we should see? Since the Mandalorian
That
era is
that
basically
hasn't.
like, yeah,
Hmm. Should we fantasize or should we be realistic?
let's be realistic.
Dang it.
We can fantasize the whole day.
I was honestly surprised that, oh, Kenobi, but that's not in the right timeline either. Yeah.
It's also garbage.
Um, yeah, it wasn't the best. Um, I was surprised we got a book of Boba Fett, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't think at the time it should have happened. Only considering that I mean, we did see Boba Fett for a little bit, right? But I just think maybe
Hmm.
if the show was executed better and done better, it could be justified.
Yeah. If there is another show that if I could guess, it would probably definitely go off of the New Republic um, theme that they're building
Hmm.
so hard towards. So it may just solely be based around that with like a lot of new characters, but like some familiar ones just to keep it like familiar to people.
So, what
Um,
if we had like an espionage show for the New Republic trying to stamp out the remnants of the Empire?
mhm. Yeah, maybe.
And that'd be cool because you can bring in Hera, you can bring in Ezra potentially.
Now Ezra,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's also
Zeb.
Zeb, yeah.
Rebels,
And
but this timeline.
just a new Rebel show. I mean, yeah, that'd be cool.
Rebels season, what would that be? Five?
Five. And then you could also bring in the Mandalorians
Live
because they could hire them as mercenaries or as like hire group.
live action. Rebels
Live
season
action
five.
Rebels. That's basically what this is. Is this is all just live action Rebels
True, but
outside of
another
Mandalorian.
show dedicated to
No,
it though.
yeah. That's yeah. Ahsoka was basically the sequel to Rebels, if we're being honest too.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoyed it.
I do want to see.
What do you think? Sorry, what do you think the another show would be like their next one that they haven't announced yet?
Honestly, I think it would just be, like you said, a show centered around the New Republic's like politics and all that and whatnot specifically. Just because
Politics.
politics. Just because like character wise, I don't really see anything. They could bring back the like Rogue Squadron series that was
Hmm.
kind of canceled. They could try to bring that back, and I think that would be cool. Following like a group of Tie Fighter squadrons, just not Tie Fighter, X-wing, sorry, X-wing
Hmm.
squadrons, trying to do whatever they do. But other than that, I mean, Ahsoka season 2 is to be expected. I don't think we're gonna have another season of Mandalorian for a while.
Aren't we getting Knights of the Old Republic
No,
or something like that?
PlayStation was trying to do a Knights of the Old Republic reboot on there as a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh, as a game.
Mm-hmm. But it's falling
Oh,
apart so fast because of a multitude of things. So it's probably not happening.
licensing probably.
Huh?
I said licensing probably.
Nope. It's because of writing story and from what I'm hearing, just everything internally.
Gotcha. Cooperation,
Yeah.
communication.
They have a writer on there that doesn't like Star Wars or like men, and they're trying to write the story for one of the most infamous Jedi turned Sith guys out there. So it's not been a good recipe for them since the get go.
watch watch the that character would like be specifically like have characteristics of men that treated that person wrong
It's
throughout their life. Just like randomly
like
the character's
just
like, "Go make me a sandwich." And like,
get back in the
"Huh?
kitchen. It's like, well, he
Do,
doesn't say that. He's never said that. That's not
do they
canon.
have sandwiches? Do they have sandwiches in the Star Wars universe?
Dude, they have milk. They have to have
Have we
sandwiches.
have we ever seen a sandwich in the Star Wars universe?
Dude, I'm positive I've seen a sandwich. I'm like 100% positive I've seen a
You're
sandwich.
so you're so positive.
I'm
Where is
so
it?
positive, dude. Not even
Where
a
is it though?
negative inkling.
Where I feel like we don't see people even eat that often, other than I'm thinking of Luke eating a little stick of sausage or whatever that was with Yoda when he first met him.
I mean, we've seen Grogu eat like whole animals, and
But no
Din
sandwiches.
Djarin's also eaten plenty of times. We've seen that.
That's true. No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
I mean,
But
that was more like
no,
porridge and stuff, but we've seen him eat.
but no bread with the goodness between.
Well, bread doesn't exist in Star Wars, all right? They got insert Star Wars name here for for bread.
So is it a sandwich then?
If they don't, I mean, yes, I'm gonna go yes. I'm not even gonna deter
Go
from that. It's a sandwich.
go go squeeze me a glass of milk.
That's gross. I would not want to do that. Straight from the teat.
Straight from it. What's
Um,
what were we talking about again?
I forgot. Oh yeah. How did the man? This is the initial question that we never actually like answered because we went on a tangent. But how do the Mandalorians fit in this new era of the New Republic?
It's because I don't know how to answer it. But if I could give you a hope
Give
and a
me a hope,
dream
a dream.
and a whisper, I think they're gonna rise up again, like big time, entire planet scale.
Honestly, I think that would be super cool if we have three forms of government, so to speak. You have the
Hmm.
New Republic, you have the New Empire, and then you have like a coalition of planets underneath the Mandalorians, where it's like not the
Hmm.
Mandalorian Empire, because that's just not what they do, but like the Mandalorian Alliance or something along those
Creed.
lines, where they have Mandalore, and then the surrounding planets, and then any other planet that wants to join them would be a part of it, which
Hmm.
I think for the New Republic era would be super cool.
That makes me think though, if they did it once, they'll do it again. The Empire will probably try to moid them off once more pretty soon because they're already growing.
Hmm. And we kind of
So,
saw hints of it in Mandalorian season 3, where they had a whole Star Destroyer, and they had like a
hmm.
whole like their own fleet, and how dangerous they are when they have the right materials and the right weaponry and equipment. Like they are
Yeah.
a threat. And then to top it all off, they have a little bit of the remnants of that Empire base built into their planet too. So
Hmm.
I
Well,
do agree. I think maybe they're going to be rising up, and with their new leadership, with gosh, what's her name? I'm drawing a blank.
redhead,
Yeah, did yeah.
that one.
Um, Bo-Katan. There we go.
Bo-Katan.
There we go. Same time, twinsies. But yeah, with her, I think it'll be an interesting leadership. I still am not a fan of her leading it, but at the same time, she did kind of go through like a nice recovery arc where she found herself and she's now unifying everything and she understands both sides of the coin. Like, it
Hmm.
made sense. At the same time, it would have made more sense if Din was in charge, but I'm also cool with him just being alone, like a lone
Yeah,
mercenary with growing up
I
and
would
raising
I would
Grogu.
prefer it that way, yeah. Because that way you get the side stories that aren't mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can still go on those like those little quest. A lot of people hate the little quests that, like I asked this guy maybe a couple weeks ago. It's like talking about the Mandalorian. He's like, man, I just didn't really like it that much. Just stick to the point and do the thing you're trying to do. Like stop all the little side quests. I'm like, but the side quests are what make it so much fun. So I can see like a good balance between, but um, I would prefer him staying a solo ranger on this little side quest because I honestly just find them like super fun and uh, I just get sucked into them every time because I can go off and think of different episodes and be like, oh, I want to like see that episode again because that was a cool little
Mm-hmm.
side quest. Or when the time he did that, I want to see that again because that episode they had to do like a totally different style of filming or they had to do a really cool like special effect. Like I really enjoy those little one-offs because it lets the directors and producers like kind of exercise their creativity and bring us something we hadn't seen before.
Oh yeah, that would be cool, especially if it does tie in with the main quest of, taking care of Mandalore and all of their whatever issues. So that
Hmm.
it's basically just a fresher version of season 1, which I think ultimately is what shows need. You need season 1 as the base, and then you grow
Hmm.
from there where 2, 3 and maybe even 4 are like super good, but at one point you need to go back to season 1 but in a fresher
Hmm.
way and continue the story in a way that's not repetitive. So I think, seeing things again won't be a bad thing in terms of like lines. So for example, like if they start off season 4, whenever that is, and he's like, I could
Hmm.
bring you in warm or I could bring you in cold. Now that's how you would start off the show.
Yeah,
Or even at
yeah.
the end of
Well,
episode 1, if he does
it's
that.
it's kind I don't know. It's kind of hard to bring that back just because at the beginning he was a totally new character. Didn't see his face, barely talked. He was just a complete mystery. And now, we've seen his face. We know where his loyalties lie. We know what he cares about, who he loves, and I feel like the mystery is pretty much gone for now, which
But I
isn't a bad
don't
thing.
think
It
it's
was
the
good character
mystery that
development.
hits it. I think it's just the character is that
It
cold.
abs it absolutely was the mystery.
Well, not for me.
It was at least 50% of like the. If you're listening and not watching, I'm sorry. That was me making
He was
a
making
facial
faces.
expression. It was for me the mystery was a big part of why I was so like dialed in.
Okay, I get that. Well, that was you did actually end up having an answer, so we were able to get
Well,
that one. So good job, man.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Basically, I have a final point here or question. With the Dave Filoni movie, which is likely to end the Thrawn storyline that's happening here, um, will that be the end of New Republic content? Will that be it for the New Republic era? Like, what's the future of Star Wars going to look like
Oh,
after
God,
this storyline?
I so desperately hope they go away from bad versus good. At least Empire trying to destroy the rebels, rebels trying to overthrow the Empire,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. I am just so dead tired of this exact same storyline every single freaking time. I don't know what they will do, but I hope it's just different. Whether it be like a new type of magical, like, or I guess you can keep the Force because that's like kind of what binds the whole Star Wars universe together.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended. Um, Maybe there's like some new Force type of culture users, kind of like how the Night Sisters use like the more mysterious magical side of the
Mm-hmm.
Force that others don't, um, and just explore just something else. I don't know, but I am so tired of bad versus good, and there's always going to be that,
Yeah.
but not being the overarching storyline is overthrow whoever. or good will prevail, or what have you.
I get that, especially since like even if you look into the expanded universe with like the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic, all of that stuff, it's essentially just been Empire, Republic over and over. However,
Hmm.
they had their two separate parts of the galaxies that they controlled, and so it was less Empire and Republic and more of the pawns of each going up against each other instead
Hmm.
of one government being collapsed and another one coming up and someone rising to take them, and it's just like a whole cycle. Now, I think
Yeah.
what would be cool is if they do the whole timeline thing where Sequel Trilogy is scrapped. I think what would be super cool is if you have these three forms of government. You know, you have the Mandalorian coalition, you
Hmm.
have the new Empire, and you have the new Republic. And yeah, they're like in the midst of battle, but you do what the old Republic did, the game, and you bring in a third one where they are from a distant galaxy, and maybe it's actually
Maybe they use some
Plagueis.
type of weird force that no one's ever heard about.
Well, no, it's so what in this. It was like the DLC for the Old Republic, where it was this new empire coming in. I mean, they weren't called that. It was like a literally completely different thing, and it was this the Sith Emperor who essentially reincarnated himself and started a whole new empire in a distant part of the galaxy or in a new galaxy. And he
Hmm.
rose people up using the Force, and they literally would come in and destroy both the Empire and the Republic to take over the whole galaxy. And so
Hmm.
the Empire and Republic had to team up to take him down, which I thought was super cool.
And then once they take him down, they start fighting again.
I mean, yeah. But I think that'd be cool is if you do that, you could bring in Darth Plagueis and have it where he actually never died. And so that could also be a precursor to what happens in the sequel trilogy. But Darth
Hmm.
Plagueis went over and made his whole new empire. You bring him in, and they're literally coming in destroying the Republic. They're bringing in destroying the Empire, and then they start getting really aggressive with the Mandalorians, and that's when everyone starts to team up to take down this new empire. That's a cool
Hmm.
avenue. But I think also would be cool
Yeah.
is I know they teased this originally in the sequel trilogy is what they were going to do, but they ended up not because Kathleen Kennedy, um, where there's in a
Ooh,
different galaxy there are people who are like force resistant. I know this was actually in the expanded universe, if I remember correctly.
like Jabba the Hutt.
Technically yes, but no, but like they were forced like the force did not work against them, and I think they were like a plague, and they were like infecting people to like kill off the force, and there was like this alien race coming in to just bring chaos, and they were just being chaotic. Which again, that's
Mm,
the whole everyone teams up to destroy them kind of thing. I think that would also be cool.
hmm.
So something like that where
That would be
everyone like comes together to defeat this big enemy. I
yeah.
think that
I
would be
think a
great.
good way. Sorry, I think a good
Okay.
way to maybe make that happen would to be maybe tell more stories through Tales of the Jedi, perhaps.
That would be
That was
nice.
that was a good little sideshow. I did enjoy that quite a bit,
Oh yeah. And the fact that it's canon.
especially the Dooku and Qui-Gon
Oh my
episode.
gosh.
Spicy. Might have to edit that out.
Definitely leaving that in. Definitely leaving that in.
It was just such a good show.
Honestly, I agree. Tales of the Jedi was amazing. And this just reminded me actually. You know they're coming out with the game Star Wars Eclipse, right?
Mm.
So, if you haven't checked it out, check out the trailer. It looks sick as frick. The game looks to be amazing. It keeps getting delayed, but honestly, I think what they could be doing is with that game teasing the next big bad. So,
Oh,
it could be something like
classic
that.
move.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And we
I'll have to
could
watch
see
the
that
trailer.
not only in like Tales of the Jedi, maybe seeing some remnants of whatever this big bad is, but also in that game as well.
Hmm.
Because I think that game
Yeah.
is I think it's while Yoda's around or it's right before Yoda's around. I can't remember, but it's during like the High Republic.
I wonder if we would get a legitimate baby Yoda.
That would be cool. Maybe we'll have an actual name for his species.
Probably not.
Probably not.
If you could name Yoda's species, what would you name it?
Yoda species. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Um,
your name is not George. What would
your species is now Jimmy John.
s-
Shoot, that's a good
$5
question.
foot long species?
Oh my gosh, look, it's another $5 footlong. Honestly, I don't know. I can't come up with like Star Wars names like that because they're so random, but they also kind of like they sound right.
That's why you gotta just let it flow.
Mm,
Trinda. Trinda.
Trinda,
Trinda with the
Trinda.
SH.
I'm not feeling that.
Trinda. Too bad I wasn't feeling Grogu either, but now it grew on me.
I actually, you know what? Touche. I'll give it to you. Grogu was kind of gross at first, but then it just became super cute. I have his bobblehead, like, right.
The same one?
No, not the same one. It's a little. It's not as cool, but it's another one. I think I got it as a pop. I can't remember.
Again, sorry, listeners. That was me pressing my Grogu bobblehead button down and it lit up the rock that he was sitting on while he was meditating.
Yeah, he was
And
he was
it
meditating on Dwayne Johnson.
that's the next movie.
No,
Dwayne Johnson
keep
comes in
him out,
as
please.
Balin's replacement.
Oh my
It's perfect.
gosh, dude, he literally ruins every series he's a part of. By the way, for those
Am
that
I
don't
doing it
know,
right?
we're doing the Rock Smolder.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah, man, you're doing it perfectly.
No, I'm not. Don't lie to me. I couldn't see my own face when I did that.
Oh yeah, it was so
I
good, man.
trusted you. You are my brother Zeus.
You turned her against me. Okay, anyways.
You turned her against me.
Hey, turned her against me, Peter. You will not get the Ghost Kill Party. It's the Get a Little Wine Mixer. Anyways,
Nice.
that's gonna wrap it up here for us here. Thank you guys so much for listening into our somewhat rambles into the future of the Star Wars universe. We'll
Mhm.
definitely have to do another Star Wars podcast for sure.
Or just crap on Boba Fett.
Or just crap on Boba. I mean, still gonna be a Star Wars podcast at that
It'll still
point.
be a Star Wars
We'll
podcast.
still hit the theme.
We're gonna have to start a different podcast outside of Nerds and Squares. It's called like Starcast.
Starcast, where it's just Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, we have to do a lot of Star Wars podcasts first to do that because this is only like our fifth one, I think.
I don't care. We're
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Well, guys, also, you know what? Let us know what topics you want to hear us talk about. Like that'd be cool. See
Hmm.
what else we can talk about. If you want to see more Roman, let us know if you want to see more Roman. Like, who wouldn't?
Or hear more Roman.
Or hear more Roman. Do you think
Or
of the
hear
Roman
more
Empire?
Gronk. Dude, now that that's been going around
I
at
don't.
least once a week.
I don't get it. Actually, I'll be completely honest. I never understood why people were saying it.
You want me to explain it to you? Or do you want to end the podcast first?
Explain it for me and the viewers.
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's girls asking their mans how often they think about the Roman Empire, um, just because apparently most girls never think about it, and someone figured out that a lot of guys say they think about it semi-frequently. Like you'd ask a girl, they'd be like, literally never. And then like one out of every so many guys would be like, pretty often, or at least once a week or
Oh,
once a month. All the girls were like, huh? So then it turned into a thing, and then girls started asking their manses on TikTok on video, and then they would give their genuine, honest answer in the moment, and it would be, believe it or not never. It'd
I
actually be kind of frequent.
I actually do think about it every now and then. Now that you mention it, I do like
Yeah,
watching documentaries for it too. So I'm a big documentary
yeah,
guy.
especially like Christians too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, killed the Lord, so. It comes up for Christians quite often as well.
that did happen. That's true.
That was the thing.
They did murder our Lord and Savior.
They did stab Mans, but it's okay. He comes back in the end. Spoiler alert.
Oh my god, dude! I didn't even get to the end, man. How are you spoiling for me, dude? Oh my
My
gosh.
bad. My bad. My bad. My bad.
All right, guys. Well, that's
Sorry.
gonna be it for us here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Captain Zeus. That's Roman, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.
Later.